forgot to make it public. But anyway, I'll just make it public when I'm done live streaming. This'll just be a recording. I forgot to, when I was setting actually it is public. It should be at least. So, I think it is. Anyway, regardless, people will see it. I'm actually going to get some light on. Probably not that light here. I'm just going to go turn the light on here. All right, now, because this is a live stream and this is meant to not be perfect. But I thought that I would change how I do, my astrology videos and, produce, astrology content where I do forecasting for full moons, new moons, eclipses, both solar eclipses and lunar eclipses, and like if a planet moves into the sign or if there is a really, important aspect this day or any aspect. Including, the aspects at a full or new moon, and there are going to be a couple aspects, which I'm going to get into today and talk about, but, that's what I do. I also do general astrology videos of this planet and the natal chart and what it means, what does the sign mean, and, how to read a natal chart, finding aspects in the natal chart. I also have a really important video about that I did last summer, which you can find. And so, that's just, me, just a little, spiel about that. But so, anyway, what I wanted to come on and talk about was this, was the fact that we're going to be just making sure. You know what? Hello. Okay, I hope this is going to work out on this live stream. But so this full moon is going to happen on February 5th, 2023, and it's going to be in Leo. And so whenever we have a full moon, we have the sun and moon opposed at 180 degrees of, whatever signs that they're in. So if the sun is in Aquarius and the moon's in Leo and they conjunct at the same degree and minute, but, let's just say the degree that would be considered a full moon. And so, Leo and Aquarius are opposite signs in the zodiac. And so their themes are, really, really different, and they can balance each other in that way, with one not having what the other has and the other lacking what the other has, and sort of lessons that they would, probably need or be valuable for them to learn. They can sort of come, to the middle of the circle and meet up and then, shake hands and, teach and learn from the other. And so with a full moon, we're balancing a particular polarity. So the last full moon in Cancer on January 6th, we really needed to balance the Capricorn Cancer polarity of being really efficient, being ambitious, working to achieve a goal, and getting out in the world. And then Cancer, which is staying at home, taking care of your family, nurturing yourself in emotional ways. So that's what we needed to balance. But now we're dealing with the Leo Aquarius polarity. That's what we're going to get into, or that's what I'm going to get into here. So, what is a full moon but a time of culmination of so many different situations and circumstances and matters of your life coming to a head. Now is the time to release any kind of emotions, any kind of pattern or situation or attachment that doesn't serve you, so that you can move into something new and feel freer and better, more evolved and happier as a person and as you're moving along your spiritual journey, which is life. I like to say as you're walking along your pathway. So, full moons are times when the energy is really heightened. Sleep becomes more difficult and settling down. There's sort of an anxiousness or an angst or angsty type of energy. I probably just made that word up. But with full moons, there is that alive and awake kind of energy that is present. And so this particular full moon is occurring at 16 degrees and 41 minutes of Aquarius and Leo. And it would be a really good idea to go in your own natal chart and see where do you have 16 degrees of Aquarius and 16 degrees of the fixed signs, which are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And if you have any planets, so this would be the sun or moon, or your Mercury, Venus, or Mars, close to 16 degrees. So I would say about maybe 2 degrees on either side, so 14 degrees through 18 degrees. I think that those degrees are really going to be important, and the planet in the sign and the house at that degree is going to be where you're going to be feeling the impact, where the change is going to happen, where the release might occur. So, that's really important to consider. And so, the other, important thing which I just want to include is if we're thinking about the different signs, so the sun is in a sign for about 30 days. It's in a sign for about a month. And so, actually, what I should do is I should move this a little bit closer here so that I'm not, looking up when I'm speaking, because I think it's really important to look at the camera and give eye contact. And so if I wasn't doing that before, I'm doing that now. See how much better that looks. Okay. So, anyway, the suns and, let's say when the sun's in Leo, for the first, I would say, 10 days of that sign, because, typically you have, the sun's in a sign for about 30 days. It's just Leo and the sun energy. But then there's 3 fire signs in each element. And so now with the second 10 days of Leo season, we get the energy of Jupiter, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and that's the fire sign that comes after Leo. And then for the final 10 days, we get Mars, and the sun is sort of, Mars is sort of a co-ruler of anyone born during that final 10 days of Leo season. Mars plays a role in that. And Mars is about aggression, but also assertion, and how you want to push forward to assert yourself in your own life and basically make things happen. It will be the ruler of the North Node moving to Aries in middle of July of next year. And I may do a whole separate video on the nodes moving into Libra and Aries, the South Node in Libra, North Node in Aries, which is going to be absolutely profound. And it is going to really steer us in the direction of living an authentic life. But so anyway, so this full moon, so when it comes to back to 16 degrees, the reasons why I reference to that is you could assume with that this full moon would also be kind of, Jupiterian, sort of, Jupiter, because 16 degrees in the middle of Leo, any planet transiting through Leo, particularly the sun, you would add Jupiter into the mix, and that's the planet of expansion, growth, luck, and joy and optimism. And so now we have when this full moon is going to be occurring. And so this full moon is going to be occurring at 12:30 p.m. Central Time, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And these are just 2 time zones. You can find out other time zones of when this full moon is going to be occurring based off of where you live in the world. There are time zone calculators out there. There are those resources, but I just gave those 2 time zones. So we're dealing with the middle of the day when this full moon is going to be happening. Smack dab in the middle of our day, we're going to have the full moon at 0 degrees of orb, an astrological term. And, for example, when I say that, I mean if you were to look up on a natal chart of when an astrological event or an aspect is going to happen, you scroll down, like, for example, Cafe Astrology, you put your birth information in, your name, gender, date of birth, day, month, year, place, click submit, and scroll down to the aspects section. You have, say, Sun, just a general example, Sun conjunct Mercury. And then you have, when you see 0, 0, 0, that shows you that the Sun and Mercury are exactly conjunct one another. So that's sort of a way of explaining that. Hopefully it's clear cut and easy to understand. But you can really see for yourself when you're putting information into that and finding aspects, determining when things are mathematically going to be happening at the exact time that they do. So those are the time zones again. 12:30 p.m. Central Time, 1:30, because Eastern Standard Time is an hour later than Central Time. 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this full moon is going to be happening exactly. And so what are the themes of this full moon? This is where we really get into the juiciness of the information here. So the sun's in Aquarius. It's been there since January 20th, and recall that on January 21st, we've had the new moon in Aquarius, which is about initiating anything having to do with our groups, communities, expressing ourselves individually and what we aspire to do. And so we've had the sun, just recently, yesterday, we've had the sun in Aquarius squaring the moon in Taurus. So the sun and moon square each other. Both of those signs are in the same mode, fixed sign. Aquarius and Taurus are both fixed signs. They're not the same sign. They're not opposites. That would mean that they're 90 degrees. The sun and moon were squaring, and so that represents resistance and tension. And so, we've had the sun in Aquarius, which is about finding your tribe and getting together with your clan or group and establishing who you want in your world in that way. It's also about expressing yourself individually and not being afraid to get out of the box, not being afraid to stand out or come up with a brand new idea or take a radical departure from this world. Aquarius is the energy of change, and it is the energy of freedom. We were really being who we want to be, and we are sort of moving forwards to, change humanity, advance humanity. And Aquarius is also an idealistic energy of, this is the principle, this is what I believe, these are my ideals, this is what I want and how I want to live my life. Sagittarius is more philosophical in that way. But Aquarius is a fixed sign, so they're really firm and strong about what they believe and their ideas. And so Aquarius is about the individual, but it's also about the group and how you're sort of collaborating and networking in your social groups. And it deals with the future, forward thinking. What do we want for the future? It's also an energy of technology. So not just computers and phones, but like, for example, a lamp or a light switch would be, technology. A piece of technology. It's all about what we want the world to be and how do we want to change and add to the world in the future and make it a better place. The Age of Aquarius is an age of love, peace, liberation, and empowerment for people to stand out and be who they are. And the saying or mantra for Aquarius is, I do it my way. I encourage it to do it your way. So that's sort of, an affirmation for Aquarius to keep in mind and sort of keep in the Aquarius, back pocket or toolkit. And so, being a member of the group, it deals with, being a member of the group. And Leo is directly opposite. So while the sun, and, a way of explaining this, an example of this, is when the sun's in Aquarius, it's January 20th through February 18th. The sun's in Leo from July 23rd through August 22nd. That's opposite. So we have the sun in Aquarius in the wintertime, the middle of winter, the sun in Leo in the summertime, the middle of summer. And Leo is about your personal life. It's one of the personal signs. So I'd like to think that Aries through Virgo deals with your personal life and how you need to express yourself and, deals with you and your independence. And then Libra through Pisces about you in relationship to other things, other people. And Pisces deals with, a higher power and, the invisible world and the dream world and those kind of things. And that's a whole nother set of topics that I'm going to be delving into on when talking about the new moon on February 20th, which will be in Pisces, which will kick off Pisces season 2023, during which point on March 7th, Saturn will enter Pisces. And I'll do another video on that, and that's a really big change. So, Leo is about your personal life. Expressing yourself in your own way, in your own circle of who you consider to be people in your life. And it deals with creativity, self-expression, expressing yourself when it comes to just what you're passionate about and and doing something from your heart as well. It deals with the heart center. With sort of the concept of keeping a cool head and a warm heart. And the heart is where we give, the heart is where we love. Pour our heart onto our sleeve and, show other people our love languages, which aren't just through verbal words, but also singing them a song or doing something with them or holding space for them, especially if they're going through difficulties or setbacks or challenges or really tough, low points in their life or high points in their life or somewhere in between. Spending time with them. It is through the heart that we express ourselves, that we sing, like, Julie Andrews playing Maria in The Sound of Music, The Hills Are Alive, which speaks to the Leo energy of expressing yourself out of the feeling, the inspiration, and the joy in the present moment and not holding it back, but letting it come out of you and pour um, out of you. And with, any planets in Leo in the second house, we can get really grounded and practical about what we want. How do we define our creativity? And how do we want to show off our creativity? And how do we want to improve and live our lives where we express our creativity? So creativity, not just singing or dancing or something like that, but building something, designing something, being an astrologer. There's certainly a creative aspect of it, but there's also the logical left brain areas of it. Um, you know, Cooking is another avenue for creativity. Maybe it's how you decorate your house, maybe how you arrange your house, how you decorate your wall, arrange your paintings or portraits or whatever. It is basically what you define as your creativity, which is your own, truly your own. Um, And another aspect to Leo is it's sort of a sign in an energy where it gets so focused on other people and how other people see Leo, because it really deals with the audience and being very sensitively aware of what they want and pleasing the audience and wanting to be pleased and recognized for fame and what you present yourself. And it's important not to get so caught up in that, caught up in needing to feel that validation and the prize feeling and the amazement and the assurance from the outside world, but it comes from you, um, giving yourself permission, you giving yourself validation, being strong in your own way and expressing yourself without getting so caught up in what others think. And the sort of, like Leo, I think of Leo, and an image that's coming to mind is looking in the mirror and seeing your reflection back to you and sort of, being, really concerned about how you look and how you want to present yourself with the flash and glitz and glam, which could certainly, uncover the fact that Leo can be looked at as a superficial energy. And it's important that we don't get too caught up in that. And Leo is a sign which can be really simple. And it's a sign that I actually know the least about. And there's layers that are worth delving into about Leo, the qualities of the sign that are misunderstood, and certainly things that I feel that a lot of people need to understand about Leo. It's not just that surface level, basic information. Let's not put it in a box. Let's not stereotype it. Because I think that more than any other sign, you have got to look at how is this Leo different from another Leo based off of your whole natal chart, based off of the moon sign, Mercury, you know, Mars, because the sun rules Leo. And so, this corresponds to any sign. Don't just take one sign and say that knows all, or that's not the be all end all. Because it's also your other planets and points in your natal chart. But, I think Leo, especially when it comes to um, corresponding to that, So, and Leo could be, especially Jupiter and Leo, the downside is, the ego and, I want what I want and sort of, symbolized by the lion, raging and roaring and, it's all about me and it could certainly lend itself to, I hate to say this, but narcissistic qualities. Um, and so with this full moon, we are doing the dance of, and also don't neglect the heart. Because Aquariuses can get hyper rational, too, cold, too, logical, to the point of where is the heart, where is the compassion, where is that feeling, where's the warmth and the tenderness, um, that, where is that kind of substance with Aquarius? So let's not lose sight of the heart. Let's not forget or leave out the heart. And the dance between interdependence and independence with Leo and Aquarius can be sort of explained in that way, where these two signs really overlap and intertwine within each other. Leo is about the individual and the group, and Aquarius is about the individual and the group, more so when it comes to groups, larger groups, networks, humanity. And Leo is about you and your family, the people that are closest to you in your world, those kind of people, your friends. Also deals with your romantic partners, because Leo corresponds to the fifth house, which deals with romance and dating. So I just thought I'd throw that out there here. So and if you can hear a piano down there, that's exactly what I was saying earlier. Because the piano deals with creativity, and you can express yourself really strongly through the piano, singing. An amazing outlet to express your emotions. So, that is a recommendation that you could, do at this time if you're musically inclined or musically gifted or talented, or just enjoy singing and playing the piano. And what matters is within. It comes from within you. And that's really a pertinent quality to Leo, as it comes from inside you. And as I said, Leo is the heart energy. It deals with generosity of giving, because Leos love to give as a sign. I have an aunt who's a Leo, and she has given me many gifts. And Leo's the energy of giving. It's masculine is giving. And giving your heart, and giving gifts and presents. When you give a gift to or a present to somebody, you really mean that, and care for that person, and value what they're interested in, or what you enjoy, or what would what you think they would like. And so when you're giving them presents, there is real, care for you giving to them in that way. And when it comes to the holidays and giving presents, let's not get caught up in the, buying the, money and the wrapping paper and all this kind of things. But let's remember, where it comes from, which is your heart. And presents, you receive presents in the presence, and presence is a gift from God, not the past or the future, but the present moment. And Leo is a sign that I'm not going to sit here and deny that it does not deal with living in the present moment and being courageously who you are in the present moment. And Leo is symbolized by the lion, which is courage, strength, and it's about empowering yourself. And when you empower yourself, it invites others to do the same. It encourages others to do the same, and you're setting an example of I'm being who I want to be, and I'm doing what's right for me. And that's really, associated with Leo, is shining your light, and not, dimming your light, and living authentically. So that's that. And so full moons are also times where we release what does not serve us. So if there's any relationship or, I mean, when I say this, you have to be realistic. This doesn't mean ignore your obligations. This doesn't mean cut out the responsibilities that you need. But maybe it's a way of approaching something. Maybe it's a way of going about something. Maybe it's a view that you had about this person, this situation, that you don't like. Find a way where you can step up to the plate of power and, change something or release something. It isn't just, radically releasing, although it kind of is, but then it kind of isn't, you know. So it's really a balance between what are you releasing and what is necessary to hold on to. Um, and again, an example of that could be your responsibilities, your obligations, and things um, that you need to do in your life. And but if you can release, and if it's reasonable and realistic, and if it's worth releasing, then do so. But still, so a couple aspects during this full moon, because it isn't, full moon in Leo occurs once every year. So it's important to get specific about the aspects here. And so one of those aspects is the moon squaring Uranus. Squares are difficult, squares are challenging, but they stir within us some effort, some change, some results, payoff because of that tension, and something gets done where we're sitting on an energy where we need to just take action and take life by the horns and then reap the rewards of something. And then that tension motivated us, that uncomfortable feeling motivated us to get something off the ground and get something done. And when it comes to the moon squaring Uranus, specifically with this, the moon is your emotions, how you need to be nurtured and nourished, and how you do nourish and nurture others. Um, it deals with how you um, um, it deals with how you need to emotionally express yourself, and your mood swings, your instincts, and intuition. And Uranus is about how you want to stand out, how do you want to rebel and revolutionize, and be your own person, and stand apart from the crowd. So with the moon square Uranus, there could be some mood swings, some sudden mood swings where you could be feeling really happy and on a high, um, and feeling or feeling really low or neutral, or this thing feels really good and then not so good, or those kind of things. So not a stable mood. It fluctuates, it ebbs and flows, it changes. Um, and another theme with this is bursts of freedom, because Uranus deals with freedom, not holding back. So with the moon in a square with freedom, it deals with emotional freedom. And it's a question from the universe, a question from, I'm going to use sort of, a jargon word here, or jargon phrase, cosmic consciousness, sort of an invitation or calling to, analyze and evaluate how free you are to do what is right for you emotionally, to express yourself emotionally. Do you have the space? Do you have the sort of environment where you feel comfortable and you can get out of your shell and you can be free to be who you are and liberate yourself in that way? Um, and it's a good time to do your own thing and to just take that tension and decide I'm going to do my own thing. And there could also be a strong desire to try something new. Uranus is not about the humdrum, mundane, same old, stick to it because this is the way it's always been done. Um, it comes after Saturn because Uranus is further out from Saturn. And so it deals with trying something totally new. Putting on new clothes, dressing in a new way, driving in a new way to work, trying a new dish, making something new, starting a new book, initiating a new project. Because by all means do that, because all the planets are moving direct until April 21st. So, definitely try something new. It can be big or small. Um, And, to have those new experiences, to expand, to get out of your comfort zone, to take more advantage out of life with what there is left to explore and understand and to experience in life. And another theme with this here is a downside, because we are dealing with a square here, is reacting out of impulse. Because just reacting suddenly, like Uranus is sudden, and rebelling against authority. Like, I don't want to be tied down, I don't want to be told what to do. I'm not going to stay inside the circle, stay inside the lines, and follow something that isn't true to me. It's about breaking free of that and stepping into your center, stepping into the person who is going to live a life of liberation and just not hold back. And another thing is not getting so bogged down in the details or the negative emotions that you may feel, but breaking free of those, doing something else that could steer you away from that negativity and the heaviness, and it could really improve, revolutionize, and uplift you. And another aspect we have going on is Venus squaring Mars. Now, I spoke about this, I think it was September 16th last year, when Venus was square Mars, Venus in Virgo, Mars in Gemini last year. Now, Venus is in Pisces. It entered there on January 26th. It's going to square Mars in Gemini, which has been going on since August 20th, because Mars recently turned direct on January 12th. This deals with what do you really want, going after what you want. And the square energy deals with frustration and anger and tension, as I said before. And Venus is the feminine, Mars is masculine. And it deals with some tension and some fight and some, resistance or some strength, and turning up the volume in your relationships. And, there could be a conflict of, in relationships, in terms of the partner not allowing you to get what you need, get what you want, or it's not how you want the relationship to be, or you feel like you can't express yourself in the relationship. But the positive side of this is to be productive. Be firm on the ground, and knowing what's right for you and going after it. So sort of the same or similar themes I was speaking about, overlap. And I'm aware that I may have repeated myself, and I try not to repeat myself. I try to vary it as much as possible, but things things are similar, and they sort of merge. This thing merges with something else. So this is my live stream video about this full moon in Leo. Hopefully you enjoy and find it a meaningful time for you, and I will talk to you. I will be in another video really soon. So, bye for now. I can stop this.